Alright, it's time I tried to do an unboxing video in a different format, and I'm not sure it'll stay like this because I'm sure this isn't the greatest angle or very flattering to myself. I look like a big old pudge pile, but hopefully I can make up for it in the video and show you some stuff. Bear in mind, usually what I show you where I do a whole bunch of things I picked up are over time, over a course of a month, maybe 2 months, where I pick up things that I see are on sale or cheap or whatnot. But occasionally there are decent sales, even on Amazon, where you buy one, you get one half off. Sometimes they just discount stuff half off. You just gotta look for it. They have coupons. You just gotta pay attention when you're looking into stuff. Of course, there's daily deals, weekly deals, monthly deals. You just gotta browse. So I did a little splurging because things were on sale. Things were, I know I used coupons. I'm pretty sure I got one half off like every other thing. So I know I got good deals and I ended up getting a good handful. The only thing that's going to bug me about this is it's not going to be in alphabetical order, and that's how I prefer it. But it's a hodgepodge of things, and we're going to dive in and see what we got. Starting out, I did not know this was giant, so I picked up Harleen, which is her origin story, you know, similar to The Killing Joke, where it tells Jokers, but it's a little bit more farther than that. But this thing, it says it was $30. I know I got it for 15, maybe less. But it looks real good. I didn't know it was giant. That's pretty awesome. So hopefully it's good. I am interested in reading that one. Next up is a handful, because there might even be more, of indie comics. Not really indie, just smaller publishers. And they're just kind of random titles that looked okay, because I really don't have that many Western comics. Definitely not apart from DC or Marvel, and I don't even have much of those. But these are all titles that sounded interesting. They were all less than $10, and I mean, unfortunately with Western comics, they're not thick, but they are in color, but it evens out somewhere. So we have Sunstone and Red Light and Trojan, and they're all about different things, but they're more adult oriented, which is what I was looking for. The reason why I'm getting Western stuff is because all the big comic titles are making it to screen. So I know only superhero stuff is jumping out at me, like The Boys, and even Jupiter's Legacy made it, even though it only got one season. But I mean, The Walking Dead started as a comic. A lot of things started as a comic and make it to screen. And so I just want to venture out more. I'm venturing into real books. I'm venturing everywhere. So the first one's a manga, and it looks super manly. This one is Today's Cerberus. It's about a guy who runs into Cerberus, I guess. I only got the short blurbs, and this one says that he runs into Cerberus when he's young, and then they come back as 3 different girls who bug him as a teenager. What goes on from there, I don't know. It seems like a comedy. We'll find out. Next is a continuation of You Like Me, Not My Daughter, a simple slice of life rom-com. It's about an age gap romance, but it has its wholesomeness in its moments. It's not that bad, even if it might sound like it is. The releases are getting staggered, as was the anime, but Level 1, Demon Lord and the One Room Hero. This is actually my comfort read right here. I enjoy this series a lot for some reason, and there's nothing really that special about it. It's just a fantasy series, and yeah, I just like it. Next up are the latest 2 of Zom 100. I didn't realize I was one or 2 behind. And I enjoy this series from the creator of Alice in Borderland. We have it was a popular anime a couple seasons ago, but the manga is immensely better, and crazier in every aspect. And I know you're like, but they had a zombie shark in the first season. It gets crazier. Just saying. Next up is Me and My Beast Boss. So, this is kind of like a reverse Beauty and the Beast in an office setting. What do I mean by that? Sort of. It's comparable, not exactly the same. Beast folk exist in this world, and they're believed to be superior to humans, and an office romance develops between a woman and her beast boss, and whether or not that's wholesome and fun, it's to be said. We'll have to find out. Another favorite ongoing series of mine is Call of the Night. Vampires, action, mystery, all that good stuff. And I believe the anime is getting a second season, so you'll get more of that. The first season's a lot more rom-com, slice of life. It's not as great as once you get past it. I know, it sucks. It sucks hearing that, where they're like, just hold on, it gets better, and you have to sit through multiple episodes for that to happen. But I think the author just changed up genres so many times because they kept deciding different things to do, and it worked. It kept it fresh, and it kept it fun. Next up is Volume 3 of Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You. I've talked about this one before. I reviewed it when only one chapter was available, and I was like, yeah, this is silly. It feels cliche. It's about a guy who likes a cashier. She's young, she's cute, she's energetic. He's never inappropriate with her or anything. He is an older gentleman, maybe middle-aged, I guess, and she's early 20s, maybe late teens, not super sure, don't remember, but it is an age gap. But he ends up behind the supermarket with what he assumes is the co-worker, but it's her just super differently dressed without her customer service face on, and they start building a relationship just hanging out, and it's really not as bad as it sounds, and it is pretty wholesome, but where it goes, I don't know. I've only read the first two. Okay, next is Otaku Vampire's Love Bite. Some ladies might know Kami-sama Kiss. This is from that creator. Some dudes might know too. I do. I watched it. But it's a Shoujo Beat title, and it's about a shut-in vampire who lives next door to her best guy friend, I guess, based on the blurb. And they bond over stuff. It seems very simple, slice of life, romance. I'd have to get into it because it's first volume. I'd probably review it. That's usually what I do with first volumes if I can help it. Next up are the volume 8 and 9 of How to Build a Dungeon, Book of the Demon King. I have 1 through 7. This series is a very adult fantasy, kind of revenge story, kind of degenerate story. It's unforgiving is what I'd say. The main character is questionable, more questionable than some, because he was a very old wizard who found out how to de-age himself, and then he decides to build his own kingdom, which is within a dungeon, and whilst he's doing so, he collects women of different species to guard different parts of the dungeon, while having relationships with them. And whether or not the story gets very different, I'm not sure. But we'll find out. Next up is Kaiju Girl Caramelize? Caramelize, that sounds right. But I went through a kaiju phase, I went through a tokusatsu phase, and I read the first few of these, and it's something. It's not that it's bad. It's just it's a very specific niche that somebody would have to be into it. So if you like Godzilla, if you like rom-coms, then maybe it's for you. But the main girl character has an affliction where she just happens to turn into a giant kaiju if she has too many emotions. And most of those are related to falling in love, and she does have a crush. So it is a rom-com, but it's also an interesting type of sci-fi. Next up is Fire in His Fingertips. As you can tell, they're wrapped. These are Ghost Ship imprints, but I bet it would have been on Steamship, because it's more for the ladies, but again, dudes can read all this stuff too. But it's a rom-com slice of life about a girl best friend and her guy best friend who's a firefighter. And one day they're just like, why don't we get together? And yeah, the release of this was stagnated too pretty bad. Like, I'm pretty sure it was delayed over a year. But we'll check them out. Next up is the latest release of Sakamoto Days, which I'm up to date with, so I will have to jump into this immediately. And the anime is on Netflix, worth a watch. Don't listen to people who judge intros or think it's not close to the manga. They've only released 1 to 2 episodes at the time of this filming, and it's pretty good. Next up is Semelaparis. Semelaparis? So this is the only way I could describe it as the female Kaiju number 8. And Kaiju number 8's good. So I'm hoping this one's not too bad. I haven't checked it out, but it sounded good. And it's branded as Yuri Love is a Battlefield. So you might be in for something interesting there. But it's about at least these two girls taking down Kaiju with weapons. Which sounds familiar, doesn't it? And it says it's an apocalyptic romance, so I'm sure it'll have its differences and be its own thing. Next up is Shohashoten, which is from one of my favorite artists, Takashi Obata, and the story is by Akanari Asakura. And this was a hard sell for me, but I love his art so much. It's just, this one's also a very niche subject matter that I don't know if the translations do it justice or not, because it's about a style of comedy in Japan, and yeah, I think some of it translates, but I feel like not all of it does. Either way, I've stuck with it, and I would like to see it animated so I can see it subbed, so I can see if the energy and the comedy matches better than the reading, because this is one of those cases where I feel like it would be better in visual form in animation. But the art's sick. Oh heavens, I didn't bring nothing to censor anything. Gotta use my hands here. Number 7 of To Save the World. One of my most viral videos was about this series. And the release of this has been way out there. I mean, I want to say it's been like 2 years. But there is no good way to describe this series other than the main character has some special little guys, and all the women need those special little guys for their species to survive and go on. That's the best way to describe it. There are way worse ways to describe it. I'm not going to get into those here, but yeah. I don't even know how to censor this one. What a cover for Do You Like Big Girls? Do You Like Big Girls is a college comedy rom-com about a guy who gets thrown into taking over a volleyball team full of large girls, and situations happen. It's the height of degeneracy, but it's not too bad. Probably no sane person, no, not single person would read it, but I don't think it's that bad. I think it's enjoyable. I think it's kind of fun. I like that they're adults. Yeah. Finding adult series with adults is hard in this industry. So, and finally, one of the other indie comics made it to the ground, and it's called Money Shot. It's about space exploration to an extent, where the main character thinks the best way to make money is by meeting alien species and possibly seeing if we're compatible. So it seems interesting. I don't know. We'll have to give it a read and review it. And that's it. That is the end of the box. So if you think this unboxing style was better, even if the presentation isn't all that great, you'll have to let me know. I think it's slightly better having more insight into why I get things, or learning a little bit about them on the spot. And I'll still feature a little reel here where it shows you all the titles and all the covers to the best of my ability.
Alright, we'll start with the Western comics here, show you the covers, because I really want to take a look at this hardback here and see what it looks like. I notice now there is some damage to it, and maybe that's why it was half off, but that's not that big of a deal. Let's check it out. The inside looks pretty nice. The back's not bad. Oh, that cover is sick. I like that. That is pretty badass. The back's same as the other back, but still. Now it's time for the manga, and of course I did have to use some cat bookmarks, but hopefully some of these titles are pretty good and fun. But until next time, I will catch you later.